Hi guys, my name is Cherita. Oh, welcome to my channel. Okay, it's been some time. You guys, it has been some time. I apologize. I'm the worst person in the world right now. I kind of got into the groove of like my regular life. Last weekend, I went out of town. I judged a cheerleading competition, something that I have not done in literally over a year. And so I got to travel. Now, granted, my traveling was from California to Arizona, but still, I wasn't here. So I kind of took like a step back but now I'm here. Now I am here. And there's so much to talk about, but today we're going to be talking about I think just two things. I might be able to squeeze in two things in particular. We're going to be talking about this AmyLee Cosmetics and the audacity of her. And I might even throw in Stacey Dash. We might even talk about Stacey Dash for a little bit. But anyways, if you guys are interested in this video, go ahead and keep watching before I get started. Make sure you click subscribe for new content whenever I post. And also do not forget to click the notification bell so that you are notified every single time that I post a video. So let's get started. As you see, I've got this on. I dyed my hair, but it didn't give what it was supposed to give. But I will show you guys at the end of this video what it gaveth. Okay, so my face has actually been getting better. I have really bad eczema, and my eczema decided to flare up for multiple amounts of reasons, but it's actually looking better. So normally what I do is I use like 2 different primers, and we're gonna see what happens today. We're gonna see how this makeup turns out. But anyways, so maybe it wasn't even a week ago, and I had seen this, it was like oh my God, what's the name? What am I trying to say? It wasn't even new, but it was a makeup palette by this indie brand. Now, you guys know me, like indie brands, like I'm literally all for indie brands. Like if you're an indie brand and you have amazing morals, like 9.9 times out of 10, I'm going to support you because capitalism sucks, but whatever. Okay, so I was on Facebook and I saw this collab, and it was, I want to say AmyLee. Yes, AmyLee Cosmetics. And AmyLee had partnered with another person by the name of Amanda, and I don't want to butcher her last name, but I'm probably going to, like Amanda Rusin or something like that. And Amanda had decided to do a palette called the Survivor palette. Now, here's the thing. I don't know Amanda. I don't know if she makes YouTube videos. I don't know if she makes Instagram posts. I don't know, but this AmyLee person thought that, she was good enough to do a collab with in their, their little indie brand situation. So my problem was not with the collab, because I think there's a lot of taboo when it comes to different diseases and illnesses. And like, for example, mental illness itself, to me at this point, like in 2021, is not taboo. But what I say, mental health. I'm sorry. Mental health is not taboo, but the different mental illnesses are, because a lot of people will be like, yes, I'm depressed, I have anxiety. And that's kind of like where it stops. But people don't really talk about like bipolar, DID, disorders. Like there's just so much stuff that people don't talk about. They always just say like, take care of your mental health. But if you say like, yeah, I'm narcissist, or I suffer from narcissistic personality disorder or whatever it's called, people will be like, oh no, you're just a bad person because you're a narcissist. And it's like, but if they're getting help, are they truly a bad person? So anyways, the palette is called Survivor. When I first saw it, first of all, to me, and this is just my opinion, I like the colors. The colors are bright, they're bold, they look like they would work on pretty much any skin tone. I'm not mad at the colors. What I was upset about were the shade names. Now, here's the thing. I can't say all of the shade names because of how problematic they are. And then once the palette started to get backlash, now here's the thing. As a producer, I guess, when you're gonna have a multitude amount of people that give you feedback. There's going to be some people that will come at you nice. There's going to be some people who are going to come at you angry. There's going to be people who come at you passive aggressive. There's going to be people that come at you in like all these different types of ways, right? And again, I'm not AmyLee, nor am I that Amanda girl that did, that was part of the collab. I noticed. So here's the thing. I first saw it on Facebook. I saw it on Facebook and I was like, this has got to be a joke. And what ended up happening was they did like what's called a dirty delete. They did, they showed the product and they're like, look at this. And everybody was like, baby, this ain't it. And so what they were doing is they were liking the people who were saying positive things. But even if the person said something negative, but it was like not mean, they would block or delete or whatever. They were making it to try to seem as if this was the best thing that's ever happened. Now, again, the concept to me was there because, like I said, mental health is talked about, but the actual illnesses are not talked about enough. And so a lot of people were just like, I get it, but at the same time, I don't. And even those people were met with blocks and yada, yada, yada. And the woman, Amanda, I'm not even going to try to say her last name. Amanda tried, she put out her little, what's the word I'm looking for? She put out her little dissertation and was just like, I didn't mean to hurt people's feelings, but I've dealt with a multiple of these illnesses, so I just thought this was bringing awareness. Now, bringing awareness is like one thing, but you have to go about it a certain way. And to me, it's like, how many people did this go across before? Like for everybody to be like, yeah, this is so good. Like, this is great. Like, I feel like it was just AmyLee and the Amanda girl. I feel like those are the only two people that they talked to or discussed this situation. And they're like, yep, this is great. This is going to be fantastic. Not everybody feels the same way about certain things. And the fact that it was called a Survivor palette, but it had multiple illnesses that literally unalive people. I understand, but at the same time, it was just like, the execution was terrible. And when people were trying to tell them, hey, maybe you should have done it like this, and then they got defensive. And I understand there were people who went like hardcore and they were like, cussing them out and like telling them they were stupid and dumb and da-da-da-da. But I don't even think they were looking at like the constructive criticism at this point, because I've seen a lot of people. So I posted a tweet about it and that tweet went like lightweight viral. And I've got people in different languages retweeting, quote tweeting that I don't understand, but it seems that like everybody feels the same way. So I'm going to talk about it in a way that like a beauty guru would talk about it. So imagine I go, all right, you guys, I have my base on. I'm going to take this primer and we're going to call it Child. And we're just going to pack it up like, And then there was another one, and it was like, okay, we're going to take this beautiful color, and it's called Unalive, and we're just going to, you know, put it in the inner corner. Or you go out and you're at the store and somebody goes, oh my gosh, I love your eyeshadow. And you go, thanks. It's lymphoma. I don't even think that would even like spark a conversation. I don't think if I walked up to somebody and I go, oh my gosh, I love your mascara. And they go, yeah, it's breast cancer. I wouldn't even know what to say or do. I'd be like, oh, okay then, I guess. Like, it would have just been so weird. But again, like, I kind of see, but at the same time, like, I don't. Because, okay, so then the girl, Amanda, you know, when she put out her little excerpt, is that excerpt? You know what I'm trying to say. And she goes, well, all of my followers, they know what I've been through. And so they know that, you know, I'm just trying to bring awareness to, but here's the thing. Imagine, and unfortunately it went kind of viral. Imagine people who don't know your story. They don't know what you, your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, imagine they don't know what y'all went through. You have to make it so people understand without jumping to conclusions. That's just like the baby and his like JoJo Siwa, and then he said, you know, bitch, something JoJo Siwa, yada yada yada. Now, to me, that was not a good play on words, because people who don't actively listen to him, they don't know that his name is Jonathan and that like JoJo is short for Jonathan. And so it was like JoJo see ya or whatever. That was not a good play on words, where you have people like Lil Wayne and he says, you know, G's move in silence like lasagna. Oh, lasagna does have a silent G. Oh, we get it. Even my boo, Double Minority, he had posted this TikTok, and he was talking about how Nicki Minaj, in one of her lyrics, it said something about like, you know, F the old Nicole or something like that. And it was like Nick old, like Nicole, but then also her and Nicole dated the same person. So it was like the old Nicole. So it was like a dope double entendre. Now the Nicki versus Nicole Scherzinger, I would not have picked up on that until like I heard, but like Nicole versus like Nicki old or Nick old or whatever, like it doesn't take much to be like, oh, okay, I get it. Even if we just went like Nicki versus Nicole. Nicki, we know Nicki as Nicki Minaj. Like, we don't know her as Nicole. So those are like good things where like you don't really have to think about it. But like, no. Like, I just can't get behind this whole, oh yeah, I am using cervical cancer to highlight my brow bone. What do you guys think? It just, because again, we don't know this woman. I don't know, what's her name? Amanda? Yeah, I think that's what it is. We don't know her. And like, it might be a little bit of our fault because, you know, it is like an indie brand, but I can't. And so when I had posted that on Twitter, somebody came into my mentions and was like, oh, no. They've been on this BS, and they have it's called like a Love Everybody palette, and it's supposed to uplift the LGBTQIA plus community, right? The names. So some of them made sense. I'm just going to have to leave it up here. Some of the names made sense. But then they had names like Bicurious, I mean, if you ask a bisexual person how they feel about bi-curious, and this is just me talking out of my ass, I feel like they feel some type of way. Because bi-curious to me feels like, oh, I'm attracted to the opposite sex, but I won't act on it I won't tell people that I act on it. So I just say that I'm bi-curious. I just say bi-curious because then it makes me more acceptable to the straight community or whatever. I don't know. And then they also had ally. Now, I consider myself an ally, but like at this point, I don't even know if there's, I just don't even know. But I do consider myself an ally, and that's some period. But why are you mentioning me in an LGBTQ IA plus palette? And I understand it says love everybody, but like, do allies truly love everybody? Like, do they? Because I understand what they were trying to do, and I'm not taking away from it. The thought, the idea, literal perfection. The execution, no. I don't think that they talked to multiple people that have dealt with illnesses, that have survived things such as the big C word, or unaliving themselves, or I don't think they talked to anybody, because if they really wanted to do a survivor palette, it would have been more like resiliency or strength or something like that. But just to outright name these illnesses and then obviously like not the colors like always match. Like depression was green and I'm confused. Epilepsy literally had glitter in it. Tell me how that's okay. I would like to understand how that was okay. That's just like if I were, because now here's the thing. I'm not taking away from the person who made the palette and was like, you know, I've dealt with this, that, and the other. I'm not taking that away from her. But that's just like, if I were to make a Black Lives Matter palette, right? And I'm like, I just want to bring awareness to Black Lives Matter and the movement. And my colors were police brutality, porch monkey, N-word hard ER, coon. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Because I could easily make a Black Lives Matter palette without triggering people. And I think that was the biggest thing, is everything was triggering. Again, I loved the idea of the palette and I loved the colors. Even like the, what is it called? The, oh Lord. The cover was beautiful. But really? You open it up and you see these beautiful colors and then you have to be reminded of your trauma. Hey guys, I'm just going to pack PTSD on my lid. What do you think? I just don't think it was thought out very well. And whatever, you can agree, you can disagree. Somebody was like, they tried to say that it was bringing awareness. Bringing awareness to what? People are very aware that all these things exist. I don't know. I just thought it could be more positive than what it was. And it would be great to like work with this person because I don't know, like I would say, oh, like she was understanding, but no, she was like blocking everybody. And also in the Facebook page, it was, you know, people were saying that the proceeds were going to be donated, but the person that Amy collabed with, she suffers from one of the illnesses in the palate. And Amy was like, I mean, as far as I know, everything's going to her. And which is fine, because I mean, I don't have a collab with anybody. If I were to have a collab, like, I'd put it towards whoever I thought. And if I thought I needed help, then sure, it should all go to me. But I'm not going to exploit millions of people to be like, nope, this is all going to me. So I don't know. The whole situation was really, really weird. But at the same time, I just feel if they were able, and I mean, at this point, it's AmyLee. At this point, it's definitely AmyLee, because of not just this one Survivor palette, but also her Love Everybody palette. And again, I don't have a problem with the colors, because the colors and the shades look, literally, they look amazing. But I also just am not okay with some of the shades, like using some of the shades, you know? It just doesn't feel right. You know, that's like having a, I already gave you guys an example. I don't need to give any more because I'm not trying to be like problematic or whatever. So that whole situation, I just wish, and again, yes, a lot of people did get angry, but she got angry right back. And unfortunately, as a, you know, like as a brand owner, you can't allow those people to get to you, whilst there are other people who are genuinely trying to help you. Because again, I'm telling you, it was there. It was there. It's like you were there, but you missed the mark by so much. And, you know, and then they're like deleting comments, and it doesn't seem like they were genuine in what they were trying to do. And again, like that Amanda girl, the one who kind of came up with this whole thing, even she was like, well, she posted, you know, her little dissertation and was just like, everybody who knows me knows. And it's like, okay, but not everybody knows you. And then she called everybody who didn't see, like, you know, who didn't see her vision, she called them small-minded. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. And I will post, I'll put everything here so you guys can pause and read. Or maybe I'll read it to you. I don't know yet. But it's like, they just seem very entitled. I wish them nothing but like, good luck. But I can't support them, you know? And I only had a few people in my messages that were like, you're doing too much, yada, yada, yada. Because a lot of people just saw like how disrespectful it could have been. Imagine like somebody who just lost their child to childhood, because that's one of the shades. And first of all, they're watching your YouTube video, or they come up to you in the store and they go, oh my God, I love your eyeshadow. What do you have in your crease? And you go, it's childhood. Like, can you imagine? Because I can't. It just doesn't make any sense, you know? And you go, oh, well, I mean, it's from the Survivor palette. And they look at you and they're like, well, my child didn't survive. I just think they could have done better if they were more open to criticism. However, AmyLee is a fan of a certain somebody who doesn't take the same criticism. So I'm not even surprised. So that's all I have to say about that. Now for like half of a second, because I might do another video on this, we're gonna talk about Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash, Dion from Clueless, got on, I don't even know where she was, what interview she was doing, but she decided to apologize for being a 45 supporter. And by apologize, I forgot how much I love this palette. What was I saying? Oh, so Stacey Dash, Dion from Clueless, she decided to kind of, and I'm going to be very controversial, but she decided to kind of like leave the Black community, and she was, or still is, excuse me, a Republican. And I know I lost a lot of you guys that are like, oh, so in order to be a Republican, like you have to be white or you can't be Black and a Republican. That's not what I'm saying. However, she said a lot of hurtful things that hurt marginalized groups. And there are marginalized groups who are Republicans, so that's not what I'm saying. However, majority of marginalized groups are not Republicans. She said things such as, well, if trans people don't know where they, what bathroom they can use, they can just pee in the bushes. Basically not giving them an identity. She also said that in order to get rid of racism, that we need to get rid of Black History Month and BET and, things like that. So when she said those things, she basically just was saying, none of these things exist. Like literally what she's saying is there's no such thing as racism. There's no such thing as discrimination towards, marginalized groups, in that she's perpetuating transphobia. She's making it okay for people to say things like being trans is wrong. And again, like I'm just not okay with that. But then in the same breath, like I'm not 100% sure. I think she might like have a white partner. And the only reason why I say that is because I see these hotep men calling her a bed wench, which I hate that term. And I don't care. I don't care that Stacey Dash chooses to date white men or happens to have a white partner or whatever. I'm never going to call a Black woman a bed wench. Like to me, that's just misogynistic. And again, whatever. I'm just not okay with that. So that's why I'm just like assuming that like her partner may be not Black, because I've seen these, like I said, these hotep, woke tep men calling her a bed wench. But the fact that she's like apologizing now and she's like, well, I didn't mean to put myself in a box. Okay, there's a difference between Republicans and people who voted for Trump, or Trump supporters, I should say. There's a huge difference. And people who are like avid Trump supporters, they're different than Republicans. But once you start spewing hate based off of this orange man who allowed hate, like, bye. At this point, you're now racist, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, you're xenophobic, you're all of these things. And at this point, the only form of apology is, come on, say it with me, changed behavior. An apology isn't going to do anything because you actively hurt marginalized groups. And so we don't have time for the, well, like, I didn't mean to be lumped in and grouped in. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You said things that were actively harmful to marginalized groups because the man that you voted for allowed it. So now Stacey Dash is like on camera, like crying and being like, well, no, girl, no. At this point, like it's going to take more than 45 not getting his job back, because I have a hard time believing that if he would have won, if that orange man would have won, she would not be making this apology. She would not. Because now she's feeling the ramifications. Because now that orange man's not in office anymore, there's no reason for these people who support him to vocally like and support Black people. So now she's seeing like, oh, maybe they were racist. Oh, so now you see it, even though we've been saying it for how long? A long periodically time? Yeah, we've been saying it. But because she's rich and she comes from privilege, which I don't want people to think that like I don't believe in rich privilege, because there's privilege in everything. There's like, if you're not marginalized, you're privileged. You know, like you might be trans, but you're white. You have privilege. You might be Black, but you're a man. You have privilege. You might be Black, but you're pretty. You have privilege. There's privilege everywhere. And so she's now realizing that those people who were on her side because they supported the same man, now she's realizing, and she's just like, oh, so they really don't like me. No, baby girl, they don't like you. And now she's apologizing. But here's the thing. She apologized, but she didn't even admit to like her wrongs. So I'm going to go in our community. And by our community, I mean like the beauty community that I'm barely part of. There's been people who have supported that man, Jeffree Star, and they've been like, oh, well, you know, Jeffree Star can't be racist because he sent me PR, or Jeffree can't be racist because I was on his channel. But once they realized that he's truly just like not a good human being, and they came back and they were like, oh, they apologized. You know, they apologized for their part in it. Cam Lester, he was one of the first ones, and he even admitted, and he was just like, you know, I'm sorry for like the hurt that I caused, like towards and he's Black himself, you know, towards the Black community and yada, yada, yada. And once he admitted that he was part of the problem, people were like, okay, now don't get me wrong. There are going to be people that are like, no, you supported that man. I don't want nothing to do with you. And I understand both sides. But once, again, change behavior. Once you understand that you were part of the problem and you're not afraid to admit it, like, come on home. Because, I mean, poor Cam, like, he was begging to come home. And he was just like, I'm so sorry. You know, he allowed whatever to get the best of him. We got you, Cam. We got you. But again, changed behavior is what we want. Stacey Dash got on camera and just started crying and was just like, I didn't know I was going to be put into this bubble, this box. Like I said, there's a difference between Republicans and Trump supporters. And that's a hill that I'm willing to die on. So yeah, Stacey Dash is out here trying to be whoever she's trying to be. I don't know. Because what didn't sit right with me is how she said, I'm just willing to give the new president a chance. So are you still and again, Republican, cool, be a Republican, but like, are you a Republican or are you not? Or like, I don't know. I still have a lot of questions for Stacey Dash. So Stacey girl, hit me up so let's talk. Because I have a lot of questions. I have multiple questions. And you need to understand what you did to the Black community. Because when somebody who is violently racist, or even if they're not violently racist, they're just like a little bit of racist, all they need is that one person to be like, well, look at Stacey Dash. She's Black and she holds the same views. Look at Candace Owens. She's Black. She holds the same views. Look at Omarosa. She's Black. She holds the same. But when Omarosa got on that Bethany show, y'all remember that? And she told Bethany how, she said, Bethany, you could be mediocre and famous, whilst Black men and women have to be above and beyond in order to get the little bit of fame that you have. And now, granted, That was, yeah, Omarosa, I do not agree with everything she has to say. But that whole white audience was like, boo! But it was literally nothing but the truth. It was nothing but the truth. And that's one of those things where, you know, like, Omarosa kind of gets it, but, like, does she really? So, like, with Stacey Dash, like, you have to understand, you were saying things so that white people would be like, yeah, because people didn't like Omarosa. White people did not like Omarosa after that. They were like, oh, she's bringing the First of all, let's not talk about who started the race thing, because y'all feelings will get hurt. So let me know how y'all feel about Stacey Dash and her apology. But again, Stacey, if you're watching this, girl, hit me up. Let's talk. So I'm going to finish my face off camera, and then I will come back and we will wrap this video up. Okay, you guys, so here's the final look, and then here's my hair. I don't know like how well the color is gonna pick up. For some reason, I thought it was gonna be like a brighter, more vibrant blue, but you can really only see it when there's light around it, but whatever. So here it is. I've got my earrings, I got my shirt, silver tee. I think the only things that I really wanna say is one, if you're trying to bring awareness to something, you have to make sure that you're literally just not, you have to make sure that you're not exploiting this situation. Because again, the Survivor palette had so much potential, but then it just fell completely short, completely flat. And I understand not everybody does makeup tutorials, but when doing that, you have to make sure that it doesn't matter who picks it up. Whoever picks up that palette and they look at it, they have to understand that there's no offense happening at all. The whole palette was offensive with Miss AmyLee. I think that's her name, AmyLee. And it wasn't just that one palette. It was the Love Yourself palette as well. And again, I don't think it has anything to do with her in particular, but she just doesn't think things through all the way. So she has to like meet up with somebody that understands, like, listen, yes, we love, you know, but like, again, it's not 2008. Like, we're not pulling Shane Dawson's where we think calling a 6-year-old is sexy, or we play about fornicating with our animals. Like, we're past that. We are 1000% past that as a society. So saying things, you know, naming your inner corner, unalive yourself, not cute. Sorry, not okay with that. And then the whole Stacey Dash situation, I'll probably talk more about that on my live stream. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow because yes, that's what we will be doing. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. Also, do not forget to link up with me on my social media, especially Twitter. All of that information will be down below in the description box. Also, do not forget to sign up for my Patreon, or, this is a big or subscribe to my YouTube. They're both the same thing. You will get literally you'll get the same thing. So please, whatever you do, do not subscribe to both. And until my next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Give me up, I wanna. Gotta work, go berserk, I gotta. Know you gon' wake up. Know you gotta get your cake up. Don't matter if it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's my time, my own.